I finally get the chance to talk to an F4 driver, Roman Bilinski. How are you, mate?
Yeah, everything's going well, thank you. Yeah, can't really complain with anything at the moment. How are you?
Oh, very well, thank you. Thanks very much for asking. I wanted to just, you're the first F4 driver we've spoken to on these interviews. I've been trying to do it for ages, but thank you very much for talking to me. Let's start with the real big positives because pre-season testing seems to be going real well. Tell us about what you've done so far.
Yeah, testing's been really positive. Carlin's doing a really good job. My teammates are pushing me really hard, so we're looking really good for the season. It's definitely been really positive so far, so I really can't complain. But yeah, I think we're in a good shape for the season.
Well, that's good to hear. I've got to take a step back because obviously our viewers know you from Ginetta Junior Racing. I've spoken to quite a lot of people from Ginetta Junior, so I won't dwell on that too much. But what I will talk about is F4 last year. Obviously, you were with Arden last year. Very positive season, I thought, with 3 appearances on the podium: Alton Park, Thruxton, and Snetterton. I say, looking at my notes. How does it feel to get your first podium in single seaters?
Yeah, well, my first podium was quite an interesting race, really. I came from near enough the back to third. And yeah, it was a really nice kind of moment to go up on the podium and kind of give something back to the team because they've been working really hard. And yeah, it was just a bit of a relief. But I mean, we're still working really hard to try and get those wins this year.
It's a very competitive championship, isn't it? I think when we looked at it last year, the number of drivers that managed to achieve podiums was very high, and you scored well getting the three of them, which was superb. For me, one of the highlight races, I said in the commentary over the course of the year, one of the races that really stood out for me was one of the Saturday races at Brands Hatch GP, and you were battling, I think, for eighth place, and you've shown you're a charger, but in that race you showed to me some real good mettle in terms of defending. How did you see that?
Yeah, it was a really interesting race because I had some front wing damage that I got on the first lap. And from then I kind of had the choice either I could pit, get a new front wing and be, I don't know, 30, 40 seconds behind the field, or I could have kind of kept on going and just known I would have had a really tough race. And that's the option I took. But yeah, it was really intense. I mean, 20 minutes of having a 8 car, 9 car train behind you, all wanting to get past, and they've all got a pace advantage. It's really tough. But I mean, yeah, I think we defended really well that race and came home with some points, which is good for me and the team.
What was your overall reflections on your first year in F4, having moved up from Ginetta? What changes were there from Ginetta, and would you say that you learned?
I think obviously the Ginetta car to an F4, there's a big difference in the driving style. So I had to work on that a lot from in pre-season testing, which I think we got covered quite well. There's still bits that I need to improve on, and that's what we're doing now in pre-season, coming up to the season. But yeah, I think overall there's positives that I can take out of it. Also things I can work on for this season coming. So yeah, I think it was an okay first season.
Tell us about your coaches. Give us some names of who's coaching you and who works with you in the team. As engineers and so on and so forth.
Yeah, so this year I've got Jamie Caroline as my driver coach,
I'm sorry to
and
hear that.
yeah,
No, he's a good lad. I've known Jamie and his family a long time, and it must be a really inspiring coach for you.
yeah, Jamie's obviously he's won the title, and he's shown in every championship he's done. He's a very strong driver, and so it's really great to learn from someone that's like so good. Then I've got Brad as my engineer, who's really good, pushing me really hard, which is like ideal. And Carlin's just giving me everything right now. I can't complain. They're pushing me and the team really hard to do the best we can.
Absolutely brilliant. I'm guessing Jamie doesn't mince his words either. I bet he tells it exactly as it is, doesn't he?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If there is a mistake, you'll know about it. But yeah, that's kind of how I need it this year. I just need to be told, I guess, straight away.
Well, it's fair enough, and it's a quicker way of learning. Speaking as someone who does coaching myself on various things, I wanted to talk about the Polish connection because you're entered as a Polish entry. How are things over in Poland? What sort of support do you get from out there?
Yeah, I mean, the Polish support, especially this pre-season coming up to the season's been really strong. And I'm thankful for everyone back at home there that's supporting me because it really means a lot. And yeah, obviously I'm half Polish, half English, but racing under the Polish flag. So yeah, I'm just very grateful for everyone that's supporting me.
And I saw checking up on your biography, Roman, that you turned 17 in March. So road driving now, have you taken the test or are you affected by the delay with the pandemic?
I've actually got my test tomorrow.
Oh,
Yeah, should be interesting. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
oh well, best of luck with that. And,
Thank you.
I'm sure you'll get through. So we've got to watch out for another youngster on the roads now, haven't we? Another point which is very exciting this year is the change of format for F4. Obviously, you mentioned that the first podium you had, you came through from the back of the grid, and reverse grid racing for single seaters years ago would have been unheard of. People would have said, "Oh, we can't do that. That's not pure motor racing." But it is part and parcel of what we do now, and F4 have broken ground doing that. This year, the task is even harder, isn't it? Because if you win race one, it's totally reversed for race two. So, what were your thoughts when they announced that, and how do you feel about approaching it?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna make it difficult for sure. But I guess it's exciting for everyone watching, which is a big part of it. Um, yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting and make it quite tough, but yeah, I think our race pace this year is looking really strong. So hopefully we can gain as many positions there as we can. Because I think if you can score well in the first and third race and then just gain as many positions in the second race as you can, that's what could make a big difference in the championship.
It's going to be an exciting year, isn't it, having that change? And I know that there are allowances in case meetings go awry to sort of pull things back. But I think the viewers are going to be in for a real treat. For us, gives a chance to see the faster drivers that we expect to see at the front doing their bit in races one and three, as you've mentioned, but also a chance for other drivers to build their confidence, as we saw you do and the other first year drivers doing last season. Going back to the history of your racing, you did karting before you came into Ginetta Junior, and we see some drivers go straight from karts into F4. Is that something that you maybe now wish you'd done, or are you happy with the path that you've taken?
Um, I, I mean, I started racing very late. I did one season of karting and that was it. So I guess our knowledge of motorsport or the progression I could have taken wasn't there at the time. But yeah, I mean, maybe now looking at it, I could have done it, but I still think 1 year in the Ginetta Junior Championship was quite good for me, just to learn quite a lot of stuff, and then to bring that into F4.
Well, that's good. And is the aim to carry on up the ladder, or are we talking single seaters or sports cars? What's the aim?
Well, my main goal is to get to Formula One. So single seaters is the goal. So yeah, hopefully next year F3 maybe, but I need to focus on this season first.
What's your thoughts on the two races we've had in Formula One so far this year? I'm asking everybody that we talk to in the support categories what they think about the racing further up the ladder. Who's your tip for the F1 Championship this year? How do you think it's going to go?
I think Hamilton will still probably win the title. I mean, he's got a lot more experience, but it's looking to be a really close season with Max and Lewis, which is great for everyone to watch. And I think it's just great for the sport in general. But yeah, I think overall Lewis will just have that edge.
Well, that's good to hear. Good to hear your thoughts on it. And of course, Lando Norris grabbing a podium, another ex-Carlin boy. I think you've got the same number as him, haven't you, going into this season? So an easy number to remember for us and quite vivid to watch out for because most of the Carling cars are blue, and you've got the fluorescent yellow, so you're going to be quite easy to pick out.
Yeah, running 31 this season with the, as you said, the blue and yellow livery, which is quite an honour to drive with, I guess. But yeah, it looks really good.
We're very much looking forward to seeing that. Finally, before you go, quick resume of obviously driving test tomorrow we've established. Much more testing to do before we kick off at Thruxton.
I've got 2 days of testing left, just to go over everything, just to make sure, I guess, we're in best shape as we can for the season. But that's it, really. I'll be on the simulator at Carlin, practicing there, simulator at home, watching videos and stuff. But yeah, I've got 2 more tests left.
Well, we wish you the best for those, and looking forward to the racing, and look forward to catching up with you in the paddock. And hopefully we'll have a chat maybe mid-season and see how things are going. Roman Bilinski, thanks for talking to us, and best of luck to you for the start of the season.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Roman.